What is up, Zaldra here. I'm happy to introduce a new build called the Thermal Lumberjack. The Thermal Lumberjack build deals 3 types of damage to counter enemies while also having high resistances for defense. It is strong in melee combat but also has the option to fight from range. It also has high weather resistances, so traveling around the map should be much easier. Now, let's get into the details of the build. The 3 main skill trees for the Thermal Lumberjack are the Cabal Hermit, Philosopher, and Warrior Monk skill trees. Here are the skills that we want from the Cabal Hermit skill tree. The Cabal Hermit skill tree allows you to have extra buffs from boons, allowing you to do extra damage and increase your resistances. In addition, the Infused Wind can further increase the attack speed of the already fast axe. Here are the skills that we want from the Philosopher skill tree. The Philosopher skill tree allows you to have access to all the Chakram skills, passive mana regeneration, and fire affinity, which increases fire damage and resistances. Here are the skills that we want from the Warrior Monk skill tree. The Warrior Monk skill tree allows you to have more precious stamina to continue melee combat while also providing some extra resistances and a counter from Master of Motion and Counter Strike. Notable Tier 1 skills to take are Fitness and Steady Arm from the Kazite Spellblade skill tree, Fast Maintenance and Armor Training from the Mercenary skill tree, Sweep Kick from the Rogue Engineer skill tree, Enrage from the Wild Hunter skill tree, and Efficiency and Metabolic Purge from the Speedster skill tree. If you want, you can take Nightmares from the Hexmage skill tree, but it is not necessary. Take 3 points of mana. This will let you have a total of 60 mana, not including the extra mana from the Peacemaker's Elixir, which is enough to cast boons before a fight and Chakram skills during a fight. The equipment that we want for this build are the Gold Lich Mask, Silver Armor, Candleplate Boots, Sunfall Axe, and Frozen Chakram. The backpack to get is the Buzu Hide Backpack. The Gold Lich Mask provides a great 25% mana cost reduction with high resistances of 30% to both fire and lightning damage and a decent 14% physical resistance. The Silver Armor provides a decent amount of defense with 2 protection, 2 barrier, 19% physical resistance, and 30% decay resistance. The Candleplate Boots provides great defense with 2 protection, 20% physical resistance, and 15% fire and lightning resistances. The Sunfall Axe deals physical and fire damage with an even split between the two, and it inflicts burning on enemies. The Frozen Chakram deals physical and frost damage with an even split, and it inflicts elemental vulnerability on enemies. The Buzu Hide Backpack will increase corruption resist by 10% while also allowing unimpeded dodge rolling. The faction we want to take is the Holy Mission faction. It provides us with a bunch of great defensive and utility buffs. From the faction questline, we want to get Acceptance, which increases our weather defense, Purified, which increases our decay resistances, Divine Assistance, which decreases our stamina and mana costs, and Sanctified Protection, which increases our protection. After building New Sirocco and Caldera, we can also get Elat's Intervention, which increases our protection and barrier. Other notable rewards we want from the faction quests are the previously mentioned Candleplate Boots and also the Peacemaker Elixir. Here are the stats for the build. In the calculations for this, we assume that all boons are active and all the previously mentioned faction rewards were obtained. We did not include enchantments or non-boons buffs in these stats. For our damage from the Sunfall Axe, we do a base damage of 21 physical damage and 21 fire damage, with about 38 impact damage. We get 30% bonus physical damage and 45% bonus fire damage. For our damage with the Frozen Chakram, we do a base damage of 22.5 physical damage and 22.5 frost damage, with about 59 impact. We get 30% bonus physical damage and 30% bonus frost damage. For our defense, we have 6 protection and 2 barrier, which can be increased to 11 protection and 4 barrier if you get Elat's Intervention after building New Sirocco. Our high resistances is where this build shines though. We have a whopping 63% physical resistance, 100% fire resistance, 40% cold resistance, 85% lightning resistance, 95% decay resistance, and 40% ethereal resistance. This build is great for enemies that deal physical, fire, lightning, and decay damage, but is not as strong against enemies that deal frost or ethereal damage. We also have a high weather defense with 35 cold weather defense and 32 hot weather defense. For our vital stats, we have 130 health, 170 stamina, and 80 mana. Other stats that this build has is negative 7% stamina costs, negative 35% mana costs, 25% corruption resist, and negative 4% movement speed. This should give us enough health to take multiple hits while also giving us enough stamina to beat up enemies and enough mana to weave in chakram attacks. Here's an example of how to use this build. Start by casting boons before the fight. The most important boons to have in every fight are Discipline, Warm, and Cool. You should be able to have Warm and Cool on all the time with the Warm and Cool skills, but it may be a good idea to make some Discipline potions. Rage is a good boon to have in all fights, but is not necessary. Additional boons may be used for defense depending on the enemy you are fighting. Usually you won't need additional buffs or imbues, but if you are fighting unique enemies or bosses, we want to use potions and an imbue that is best for the current fight. Then, we want to hit the enemies with chakram skills. We want to get at least 3 hits in so that the enemy gets inflicted with elemental vulnerability, decreasing their elemental resistances. Next, we want to use Talus Cleaver on the enemy to decrease their physical resistance and movement speed. After that, we can use the one-handed axe combos to quickly attack the enemy to knock them down and beat them up. This should be more than enough to defeat most enemies. If you get into a prolonged fight, use Brace to regenerate the Discipline boon, and use Counter-Strike to counter an enemy's attack. In addition, make sure to run away every once in a while to use Chakram skills to reapply elemental vulnerability. If you ever get into a position where the enemy or enemies are attacking too fast and there is no opening to attack, run a few meters away and use chakram skills to knock the enemies down and thin them out. I had a lot of fun playing with the Thermal Lumberjack build. Its tankiness made the game so much easier and it still did a lot of damage. In my opinion, I think this build is a great beginner-friendly build. You may have noticed that I did not include enchantments in this build, as I think there should be some room for variability depending on personal preference. Let me know in the comments if you would like more details regarding enchantments in future builds. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you are interested in learning about how to get different equipment in Outward, click on the info card for more information. Also, if you are interested in creating your own Outward builds, click on the info card for a build calculator that you might find helpful. Otherwise, I'll see you later.